Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jason Citron, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Discord. We are an American company with about 800 employees living and working in 33 states. Today, Discord has grown to more than 150 million monthly active users. Discord is a communications platform where friends hang out and talk online about shared interests, from fantasy sports to writing music to video games. I've been playing video games since I was 5 years old, and as a kid, it's how I had fun and found friendship. Many of my fondest memories are of playing video games with friends. We built Discord so that anyone could build friendships playing video games, from Minecraft to Wordle and everything in between. Games have always brought us together, and Discord makes that happen today. Discord is one of the many services that have revolutionized how we communicate with each other in the different moments of our lives. iMessage, Zoom, Gmail, and on and on. They enrich our lives, create communities, accelerate commerce, healthcare, and education. Just like with all technology and tools, there are people who exploit and abuse our platforms for immoral and illegal purposes. All of us here on the panel today and throughout the tech industry have a solemn and urgent responsibility to ensure that everyone who uses our platforms is protected from these criminals, both online and off. Discord has a special responsibility to do that because a lot of our users are young people. More than 60% of our active users are between the ages of 13 and 24. It's why safety is built into everything we do. It's essential to our mission and our business. And most of all, this is deeply personal. I'm a dad with 2 kids. I want Discord to be a product that they use and love, and I want them to be safe on Discord. I want them to be proud of me for helping to bring this product to the world. That's why I am pleased to be here today to discuss the important topic of the online safety of minors. My written testimony provides a comprehensive overview of our safety programs. Here are a few examples of how we protect and empower young people. First, we've put our money into safety. The tech sector has a reputation of larger companies buying smaller ones to increase user numbers and boost financial results. But the largest acquisition we've ever made at Discord was a company called Centropy. It didn't help us expand our market share or improve our bottom line. In fact, because it uses AI to help us identify, ban, and report criminals and bad behavior, it has actually lowered our user count by getting rid of bad actors. Second, you've heard of end-to-end encryption that blocks anyone, including the platform itself, from seeing users' communications. It's a feature on dozens of platforms, but not on Discord. That's a choice we've made. We don't believe we can fulfill our safety obligations if the text messages of teens are fully encrypted, because encryption would block our ability to investigate a serious situation and, when appropriate, report to law enforcement. Third, we have a zero-tolerance policy on child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. We scan images uploaded to Discord to detect and block the sharing of this abhorrent material. We've also built an innovative tool, Teen Safety Assist, that blocks explicit images and helps young people easily report unwelcome conversations. We've also developed a new semantic hashing technology for detecting novel forms of CSAM called CLIP, and we're sharing this technology with other platforms through the Tech Coalition. Finally, we recognize that improving online safety requires all of us to work together. So we partner with nonprofits, law enforcement, and our tech colleagues to stay ahead of the curve in protecting young people online. We want to be the platform that empowers our users to have better online experiences, to build true connections, genuine friendships, and to have fun. Senators, I sincerely hope today is the beginning of an ongoing dialogue that results in real improvements in online safety. I look forward to your questions and to helping the committee learn more about Discord.
Thank you, Mr. Citron. Mr. Zuckerberg.
Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Graham, and members of the committee. Every day, teens and young people do amazing things on our services. They use our apps to create new things, express themselves, explore the world around them, and feel more connected to the people they care about. Overall, teens tell us that this is a positive part of their lives. But some face challenges online, so we work hard to provide parents and teens support and controls to reduce potential harms. Being a parent is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Technology gives us new ways to communicate with our kids and feel connected to their lives, but it can also make parenting more complicated. And it's important to me that our services are positive for everyone who uses them. We are on the side of parents everywhere working hard to raise their kids. Over the last 8 years, we've built more than 30 different tools, resources, and features that parents can set time limits for their teens using our apps, see who they're following, or if they report someone for bullying. For teens, we've added nudges that remind them when they've been using Instagram for a while or if it's getting late and they should go to sleep, as well as ways to hide words or people without those people finding out. We put special restrictions on teen accounts on Instagram. By default, accounts for under 16s are set to private, have the most restrictive content settings, and can't be messaged by adults that they don't follow or people they aren't connected to. With so much of our lives spent on mobile devices and social media, it's important to look into the effects on teen mental health and well-being. I take this very seriously. Mental health is a complex issue, and the existing body of scientific work has not shown a causal link between using social media and young people having worse mental health outcomes. A recent National Academies of Science report evaluated over 300 studies and found that research, quote, did not support the conclusion that social media causes changes in adolescent mental health at the population level, end quote. It also suggested that social media can provide significant positive benefits when young people use it to express themselves, explore and connect with others. Still, we're going to continue to monitor the research and use it to inform our roadmap. Keeping young people safe online has been a challenge since the internet began. And as criminals evolve their tactics, we have to evolve our defenses too. We work closely with law enforcement to find bad actors and help bring them to justice. But the difficult reality is that no matter how much we invest or how effective our tools are, there's always more to learn and more improvements to make. But we remain ready to work with members of this committee, industry, and parents to make the internet safer for everyone. I'm proud of the work that our teams do to improve online child safety on our services and across the entire internet. We have around 40,000 people overall working on safety and security, and we've invested more than $20 billion in this since 2016, including around $5 billion in the last year alone. We have many teams dedicated to child safety and teen well-being, and we lead the industry in a lot of the areas that we're discussing today. We build technology to tackle the worst online risks and share it to help our whole industry get better, like Project Lantern, which helps companies share data about people who break child safety rules, and we're founding members of Take It Down, a platform which helps young people prevent their nude images from being spread online. We also go beyond legal requirements and use sophisticated technology to proactively discover abusive material. And as a result, we find and report more inappropriate content than anyone else in the industry. As the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children put it this week, Meta goes, quote, above and beyond to make sure that there are no portions of their network where this type of activity occurs, end quote. I hope we can have a substantive discussion today that drives improvements across the industry, including legislation that delivers what parents say they want, a clear system for age verification and control over what apps their kids are using. 3 out of 4 parents want App Store age verification, and 4 out of 5 want parental approval of whenever teens download apps. We support this. Parents should have the final say on what apps are appropriate for their children and shouldn't have to upload their ID every time. That's what app stores are for. We also support setting industry standards on age-appropriate content and limiting signals for advertising to teens to age and location and not behavior. At the end of the day, we want everyone who uses our services to have safe and positive experiences. Before I wrap up, I want to recognize the families who are here today who have lost a loved one or lived through some terrible things that no family should have to endure. These issues are important for every parent and every platform. I'm committed to continuing to work in these areas, and I hope we can make progress today.
Thank you. Mr. Spiegel.
Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Graham, and members of the committee, thank you for convening this hearing and for moving forward important legislation to protect children online. I'm Evan Spiegel, the co-founder and CEO of Snap. We created Snapchat, an online service that is used by more than 800 million people worldwide to communicate with their friends and family. I know that many of you have been working to protect children online since before Snapchat was created, and we are grateful for your long-term dedication to this cause and your willingness to work together to help keep our community safe. I want to acknowledge the survivors of online harms and the families who are here today who have suffered the loss of a loved one. Words cannot begin to express the profound sorrow I feel that a service we designed to bring people happiness and joy has been abused to cause harm. I want to be clear that we understand our responsibility to keep our community safe. I also want to recognize the many families who have worked to raise awareness on these issues, pushed for change, and collaborated with lawmakers on important legislation like the Cooper-Davis Act, which can help save lives. I started building Snapchat with my co-founder Bobby Murphy when I was 20 years old. We designed Snapchat to solve some of the problems that we experienced online when we were teenagers. We didn't have an alternative to social media. That meant pictures shared online were permanent, public, and subject to popularity metrics. It didn't feel very good. We built Snapchat differently because we wanted a new way to communicate with our friends that was fast, fun, and private. A picture is worth 1,000 words, so people communicate with images and videos on Snapchat. We don't have public likes or comments when you share your story with friends. Snapchat is private by default, meaning that people need to opt in to add friends and choose who can contact them. When we built Snapchat, we chose to have the images and videos sent through our service delete by default. Unlike prior generations who've enjoyed the privacy afforded by phone calls, which aren't recorded, our generation has benefited from the ability to share moments through Snapchat that may not be picture perfect, but instead convey emotion without permanence. Even though Snapchat messages are deleted by default, we let everyone know that images and videos can be saved by the recipient. When we take action on illegal or potentially harmful content, we also retain the evidence for an extended period, which allows us to support law enforcement and hold criminals accountable. To help prevent the spread of harmful content on Snapchat, we approve the content that is recommended on our service using a combination of automated processes and human review. We apply our content rules consistently and fairly across all accounts. We run samples of our enforcement actions through quality assurance to verify that we are getting it right. We also proactively scan for known child sexual abuse material, drug-related content, and other types of harmful content, remove that content, deactivate and device block offending accounts, preserve the evidence for law enforcement, and report certain content to the relevant authorities for further action. Last year, we made 690,000 reports to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, leading to more than 1,000 arrests. We also removed 2.2 million pieces of drug-related content and blocked 705,000 associated accounts. Even with our strict privacy settings, content moderation efforts, proactive detection, and law enforcement collaboration, bad things can still happen when people use online services. That's why we believe that people under the age of 13 are not ready to communicate on Snapchat. We strongly encourage parents to use the device-level parental controls on iPhone and Android. We use them in our own household, and my wife approves every app that our 13-year-old downloads. For parents who want more visibility and control, we built Family Center in Snapchat, where you can view who your teen is talking to, review privacy settings, and set content limits. We have worked for years with members of the committee on legislation like the Kids Online Safety Act and the Cooper-Davis Act, which we are proud to support. I want to encourage broader industry support for legislation protecting children online. No legislation is perfect, but some rules of the road are better than none. Much of the work that we do to protect people that use our service would not be possible without the support of our partners across the industry, government, nonprofit organizations, NGOs, and in particular law enforcement and the first responders who have committed their lives to helping keep people safe. I am profoundly grateful for the extraordinary efforts across our country and around the world to prevent criminals from using online services to perpetrate their crimes. I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the opportunities that this country has afforded me and my family. I feel a deep obligation to give back and to make a positive difference, and I am grateful to be here today as part of this vitally important democratic process. Members of the committee, I give you my commitment that we will be part of the solution for online safety. We will be honest about our shortcomings, and we will work continuously to improve. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Spiegel. Mr. Chu.
Chair Durbin, Ranking Member Graham, and members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Shou Chu, and I'm the CEO of TikTok, an online community of more than 1 billion people worldwide, including well over 170 million Americans who use our app every month to create, to share, and to discover. Now, although the average age on TikTok in the US is over 30, we recognize that special safeguards are required to protect minors, and especially when it comes to combating all forms of CSAM. As a father of 3 young children myself, I know that the issues that we're discussing today are horrific and the nightmare of every parent. I am proud of our efforts to address the threats to young people online, from a commitment to protecting them to our industry-leading policies, use of innovative technology, and significant ongoing investments in trust and safety to achieve this goal. TikTok is vigilant about enforcing its 13 and up age policy and offers an experience for teens that is much more restrictive than you and I would have as adults. We make careful product design choices to help make our app inhospitable to those seeking to harm teens. Let me give you a few examples of long-standing policies that are unique to TikTok. We didn't do them last week. First, direct messaging is not available to any users under the age of 16. Second, accounts for people under 16 are automatically set to private along with their content. Furthermore, the content cannot be downloaded and will not be recommended to people they do not know. Third, every teen under 18 has a screen time limit automatically set to 60 minutes. And fourth, only people 18 and above are allowed to use our live stream feature. I'm proud to say that TikTok was among the first to empower parents to supervise their teens on our app with our family pairing tools. This includes setting screen time limits, filtering out content from the teens' feeds, amongst others. We made these choices after consulting with doctors and safety experts who understand the unique stages of teenage development to ensure that we have the appropriate safeguards to prevent harm and minimize risk. Now, safety is one of the core priorities that defines TikTok under my leadership. We currently have more than 40,000 trust and safety professionals working to protect our community globally. And we expect to invest more than $2 billion in trust and safety efforts this year alone, with a significant part of that in our US operations. Our robust community guidelines strictly prohibit content or behavior that puts teenagers at risk of exploitation or other harm, and we vigorously enforce them. Our technology moderates all content uploaded to our app to help quickly identify potential CSAM and other material that breaks our rules. It automatically removes the content or elevates it to our safety professionals for further review. We also moderate direct messages for CSAM and related material, and use third-party tools like PhotoDNA and Take It Down to combat CSAM to prevent content from being uploaded to our platform. We continually meet with parents, teachers, and teens. In fact, I sat down with a group just a few days ago. We use their insight to strengthen the protections on our platform, and we also work with leading groups like the Technology Coalition. The steps that we're taking to protect teens are a critical part of our larger trust and safety work as we continue our voluntary and unprecedented efforts to build a safe and secure data environment for US users, ensuring that our platform remains free from outside manipulation and implementing safeguards on our content recommendation and moderation tools. Keeping teens safe online requires a collaborative effort as well as collective action. We share the community's concern and commitment to protect young people online, and we welcome the opportunity to work with you on legislation to achieve this goal. Our commitment is ongoing and unwavering because there is no finish line when it comes to protecting teens. Thank you for your time and consideration today. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Mr. Chu. Ms. Yacarino.
Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Graham, and esteemed members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss X's work in protecting.
Ms. Yacarino, could you check if your microphone is on?
My talk button is on.
And you might drop.
How is that? Okay,
Better.
maybe
Thank you very much.
adjust my chair. Apologies. Start over. Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Graham, and esteemed members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to discuss X's work to protect the safety of minors online. Today's hearing is titled A Crisis, which calls for immediate action. As a mother, this is personal, and I share the sense of urgency. X is an entirely new company, an indispensable platform for the world and for democracy. You have my personal commitment that X will be active and a part of this solution. While I joined X only in June of 2023, I bring a history of working together with governments, advocates, and NGOs to harness the power of media to protect people. Before I joined, I was struck by the leadership steps this new company was taking to protect children. X is not the platform of choice for children and teens. We do not have a line of business dedicated to children. Children under the age of 13 are not allowed to open an account. Less than 1% of the US users on X are between the ages of 13 and 17. And those users are automatically set to a private default setting and cannot accept a message from anyone they do not approve. In the last 14 months, X has made material changes to protect minors. Our policy is clear. X has zero tolerance towards any material that features or promotes child sexual exploitation. My written testimony details X's extensive policies on content or actions that are prohibited and include grooming, blackmail, and identifying alleged victims of CSE. We've also strengthened our enforcement with more tools and technology to prevent those bad actors from distributing, searching for, and engaging with CSE content. If CSE content is posted on X, we remove it. And now we also remove any account that engages with CSE content, whether it is real or computer generated. Last year, X suspended 12.4 million accounts for violating our CSE policies. This is up from 2.3 million accounts that were removed by Twitter in 2022. In 2023, 850,000 reports were sent to NCMEC, including our first ever auto-generated report. This is 8 times more than was reported by Twitter in 2022. We've changed our priorities. We've restructured our trust and safety teams to remain strong and agile. We are building a trust and safety center of excellence in Austin, Texas, to bring more agents in-house to accelerate our impact. We're applying to the Technology Coalition's Project Lantern to make further industry-wide progress and impact. We've also opened up our algorithms for increased transparency. We want America to lead in this solution. X commends the Senate for passing the REPORT Act, and we support the SHIELD Act. It is time for a federal standard to criminalize the sharing of non-consensual intimate material. We need to raise the standards across the entire internet ecosystem, especially for those tech companies that are not here today and not stepping up. X supports the Stop CSAM Act. The Kids Online Safety Act should continue to progress, and we will support the continuation to engage with it and ensure the protections of the freedom of speech. There are two additional areas that require everyone's attention. First, as the daughter of a police officer, law enforcement must have the critical resources to bring these bad offenders to justice. Second, with artificial intelligence, offenders' tactics will continue to sophisticate and evolve. Industry collaboration is imperative here. X believes that the freedom of speech and platform safety can and must coexist. We agree that now is the time to act with urgency. Thank you. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Iaccarino. Now we'll go into rounds of questions, 7 minutes each for the members as well. I would like to make note of your testimony, Ms. Iaccarino. I believe you are the first social media company to publicly endorse the CSAM Act.
It is our honor, Chairman.
That is progress, my friends. Thank you for doing that. I'm still going to be asking some probing questions, but let me get down to the bottom line here. I'm going to focus on my legislation on CSAM. What it says is civil liability if you intentionally or knowingly host or store child sexual abuse materials or make child sex abuse materials available. Secondly, intentionally or knowingly promote or aid and abet a violation of child sexual exploitation laws. Is there anyone here who believes you should not be held civilly liable for that type of conduct? Mr. Citron?
Good morning, Chair. We very much believe that this content is disgusting and that there are many things about the Stop CSAM bill that I think are very encouraging, and we very much support adding more resources for the cyber tip line and modernizing that along with giving more resources to NECMEC. I'd be very open to having conversations with you and your team to talk through the details of the bill some more.
I sure would like to do that, because if you intentionally or knowingly host or store CSAM, I think you ought to at least be civilly liable. I can't imagine anyone who would disagree with that.
Yeah, it's disgusting content.
It certainly is. That's why we need you supporting this legislation. Mr. Spiegel, I want to tell you, I listened closely to your testimony here, and it's never been a secret that Snapchat is used to send sexually explicit images. In 2013, early in your company's history, you admitted this in an interview. Do you remember that interview?
Senator, I don't recall the specific interview.
You said that when you were first trying to get people on the app, you would, quote, go up to the people and be like, hey, you should try this application. You can send disappearing photos. And they would say, oh, for sexting? Do you remember that interview?
Senator, when we first created the application, it was actually called Pickaboo, and the idea was around disappearing images. The feedback we received from people using the app is that they were actually using it to communicate. So we changed the name of the application to Snapchat, and we found that people were using it to talk visually.
As early as 2017, law enforcement identified Snapchat as the pedophile's go-to sexual exploitation tool. The case of a 12-year-old girl identified in court only as LW shows the danger. Over 2.5 years, a predator sexually groomed her. sending her sexually explicit images and videos over Snapchat. The man admitted that he only used Snapchat with LW and not any other platforms because he, quote, knew the chats would go away. Did you and everyone else at Snap really fail to see that the platform was the perfect tool for sexual predators?
Senator, that behavior is disgusting and reprehensible. We provide in-app reporting tools so that people who are being harassed or who are, have been shared inappropriate sexual content can report it. In the case of harassment or sexual content, we typically respond to those reports within 15 minutes so that we can provide help.
When LW, the victim, sued Snapchat, her case was dismissed under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Do you have any doubt that had Snap faced the prospect of civil liability for facilitating sexual exploitation, the company would have implemented even better safeguards?
Senator, we already work extensively to proactively detect this type of behavior. We make it very difficult for predators to find teens on Snapchat. There are no public friends lists, no public profile photos. When we recommend friends for teens, we make sure that they have several mutual friends in common before making that recommendation. We believe those safeguards are important to preventing predators from misusing our platform.
Mr. Citron, according to Discord's website, it takes a, quote, proactive and automated approach to safety only on servers with more than 200 members. Smaller servers rely on server owners and community moderators to define and enforce behavior. So how do you defend an approach to safety that relies on groups of fewer than 200 sexual predators to report themselves for things like grooming, trading a CSAM, or sextortion?
Chair, our goal is to get all of that content off of our platform and ideally prevent it from showing up in the first place or from people engaging in these kind of horrific activities. We deploy a wide array of techniques that work across every surface on Discord. I mentioned we recently launched something called Teen Safety Assist, which works everywhere, and it's on by default for teen users. That kind of acts like a buddy that lets them know if they are in a situation or talking with someone that may be inappropriate, so they can report that to us and block that user.
Mr. Citron, if that were working, we wouldn't be here today.
Senator, Chair, this is an ongoing challenge for all of us. That is why we're here today. But we do have 15% of our company is focused on trust and safety, of which this is one of our top issues. That's more people than we have working on marketing and promoting the company. So we take these issues very seriously, but we know it's an ongoing challenge, and I look forward to working with you and collaborating with our tech peers and the nonprofits to improve our approach.
I certainly hope so. Mr. Chu, your organization and business is one of the more popular ones among children. Can you explain to us what you are doing particularly and whether you've seen any evidence of CSAM in your business?
Yes, Senator. We have a strong commitment to invest in trust and safety. And as I said in my opening statement, I intend to invest more than $2 billion in trust and safety this year alone. We have 40,000 safety professionals working on this topic. We have built a specialized child safety team to help us identify specialized issues, horrific issues like material like the ones you have mentioned. If we identify any on our platform and we proactively do detection, we will remove it and we will report them to NCMEC and other authorities.
Why is it TikTok allowing children to be exploited into performing commercialized sex acts?
Senator, I respectfully disagree with that characterization. Our live streaming product is not for anyone below the age of 18. We have taken action to identify anyone who violates that, and we will remove them from using that service.
At this point, I'm going to turn to my ranking member, Senator Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Citron. You said we need to start a discussion. Be honest with you, we've been having this discussion for a very long time. We need to get a result, not a discussion. Do you agree with that?
Ranking member, I agree this is an issue that we've also been very focused on since we started our company in 2015, but this is the first time.
Are you familiar with the Earn It Act, authored by myself and Senator Blumenthal?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, or do you support that? Like yes or no?
We're not prepared to support it today, but we
Okay.
believe
Do
that
you
section,
support the CSAM Act?
the Stop CSAM Act, we are not prepared to support today,
Okay.
but we
Do you
think there,
support the SHIELD Act?
we believe that the cyber tip line.
Do you
and,
support it, yes or no?
we believe that the cyber tip line and
I'll
NECMEC.
take that to be no. The Project Safe Childhood Act, do you support it?
We believe that,
I'll take that to be no. The Report Act, do you support it?
Ranking Member Graham, we very much look forward to having conversations
you.
with you and your team. We
Well, I
want to be
look
part
forward
of
to
the
passing a
solution.
bill that will solve the problem. Do you support removing Section 230 liability protections for social media companies?
I believe that Section 230 needs to be updated. It's a very old law.
Do you support repealing it so people can sue if they believe they're harmed?
I think that Section 230, as written, while it has many downsides,
thank
has
you,
enabled
thank you,
innovation on
thank
the
you,
internet, which I think
Thank
has
you.
largely been.
Thank you very much. So here you are. You got. If you're waiting on these guys to solve the problem, we're going to die waiting. Mr. Zuckerberg, try to be respectful here. The representative from South Carolina, Mr. Guffey's son, got caught up in a sex extortion ring in Nigeria using Instagram. He was shaken down, paid money. That wasn't enough, and he killed himself using Instagram. What would you like to say to him?
It's terrible. I mean, no one should have to go through something like that.
Do you think he should be allowed to sue you?
I think that they can sue us.
Well, I think he should, and he can't. So the bottom line here, folks, is that this committee is done with talking. We passed 5 bills unanimously that in their different ways, and look at who did this. Graham Blumenthal, Durbin Hawley, Klobuchar Cornyn, Klobuchar, Blackburn, and Ossoff. I mean, we've found common ground here that just is astonishing. And we've had hearing after hearing, Mr. Chairman, and the bottom line is I've come to conclude, gentlemen, that you're not going to support any of this. Linda, how you say your last name?
Yacarino.
Do you support the Earn It Act?
We strongly support the collaboration to raise industry practices to
Do you support the Earn
prevent
It Act?
CSAM.
Do you support the Earn It? In English, do you support the Earn It Act? Yes or no? We don't need double speak
We
here.
look forward to supporting and continue our conversations.
Okay, so I'll
as
take
you
that
can
as no.
see,
But you have taken, the reason the Earn It Act's important, you can actually lose your liability protections when children are exploited and you didn't use best business practices. See, the Earn It Act means you have to earn liability protection. You're given it no matter what you do. So to the members of this committee, it is now time to make sure that the people who are holding up the signs can sue on behalf of their loved ones. Nothing will change until the courtroom door is open to victims of social media. $2 billion, Mr. Chu. How much, what percentage is that of what you made last year?
Senator, it's a significant and increasing investment. As a private company, we're not
You
sharing
pay
our
taxes.
financials.
I mean, 2% is what percent of your revenue?
Senator, we're not ready to share our financials in public.
Well, I just think $2 billion sounds a lot unless you make $100 billion. So the point is, you know, when you tell us you're going to spend $2 billion, great, but how much do you make? You know, it's all about eyeballs. Well, our goal is to get eyeballs on you. And it's just not about children. I mean, the damage being done. Do you realize, Mr. Chu, that your TikTok representative in Israel resigned yesterday?
Yes, I am aware.
Okay, and he said, I resigned from TikTok. We're living in a time in which our existence as Jews in Israel, and Israel is under attack and in danger. Multiple screenshots taken from TikTok's internal employee chat platform known as LARC show how TikTok's trust and safety officers celebrate the barbaric acts of Hamas and other Iranian-backed terror groups, including the Houthis in Yemen.
Senator, I need to make it very clear that pro-Hamas content and hate speech is not allowed on our platform or within our company.
Why did he resign? Why did he quit?
Senator, we also do not allow any
Do you know
hateful
why he
behavior at work.
quit? Do you know why he quit?
We do not allow this. We will investigate such
My question
claims.
is, he quit. I'm sure he had a good job. He gave up a good job because thinks your platform is being used to help people who want to destroy the Jewish state. And I'm not saying you want that. Mr. Zuckerberg, I'm not saying you want, as an individual, any of the harms. I am saying that the products you have created with all the upside have a dark side. Mr. Citron, I am tired of talking. I'm tired of having discussions. We all know the answer here. And here's the ultimate answer. Stand behind your product. Go to the American courtroom and defend your practices. Open up the courthouse door. Until you do that, nothing will change. Until these people can be sued for the damage they're doing, it is all talk. I'm a Republican who believes in free enterprise, but I also believe that every American who's been wronged has to have somebody to go to complain. There's no commission to go to that can punish you. There's not one law in the book because you oppose everything we do, and you can't be sued. That has to stop, folks. How do you expect the people in the audience to believe that we're going to help their families if we don't have some system or a combination of systems to hold these people accountable? Because for all the upside, the dark side is too great to live with. We do not need to live this way as Americans.
Thank you, Senator Graham. Senator Klobuchar is next. She's been quite a leader on the subject for quite a long time on the SHIELD Act and with Senator Cornyn on the revenge porn legislation. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Chairman Durbin, and thank you, Ranking Member Graham, for those words. I couldn't agree more. For too long, we have been seeing the social media companies turn a blind eye when kids have joined these platforms in record numbers. They have used algorithms that push harmful content because that content got popular. They provided a venue, maybe not knowingly at first, but for dealers to sell deadly drugs like fentanyl. Our own head of our Drug Enforcement Administration has said they've basically been captured by the cartels in Mexico and in China. So I strongly support, first of all, the Stop CSAM bill. I agree with Senator Graham that nothing is going to change unless we open up the courtroom doors. I think the time for all of this immunity is done because I think money talks even stronger than we talk up here. 2 of the 5 bills, as noted, are my bills with Senator Cornyn. One has actually passed through the Senate, but is waiting action in the House. But the other one is the SHIELD Act, and I do appreciate the support of that bill. This is about revenge porn. The FBI director testified before this committee. There's been over 20 suicides of kids attributed to online revenge porn in just the last year. But for those parents out there and those families, this is for them about their own child, but it's also about making sure this doesn't happen to other children. I know because I've talked to these parents. Parents like Bridget Noring from Hastings, Minnesota, who is out there today. Bridget lost her teenage son after he took a fentanyl lace pill that he purchased on the internet. Amy Neville is also here. Platform got the pill. Amy Neville is also here. Her son Alexander was only 14 when he died after taking a pill he didn't know was actually fentanyl. We're starting a law enforcement campaign, One Pill Kills in Minnesota, going to the schools with the sheriffs and law enforcement. But the way to stop it is, yes, at the border and at the points of entry, but we know that 30% some of the people that are getting the fentanyl are getting it off the platforms. Meanwhile, social media platforms generated $11 billion in revenue in 2022 from advertising directed at children and teenagers, including nearly $2 billion in ad profits derived from users age 12 and under. When a Boeing plane lost a door in mid-flight several weeks ago, nobody questioned the decision to ground a fleet of over 700 planes. So why aren't we taking the same type of decisive action on the danger of these platforms when we know these kids are dying? We have bills that have passed through this incredibly diverse committee when it comes to our political views, that have passed through this committee, and they should go to the floor. We should do something finally about liability, and then we should turn to some of the other issues that a number of us have worked on when it comes to the charges for app stores and when it comes to some of the monopoly behavior and the self-preferencing. But I'm going to stick with this today. Facts. 1/3 of fentanyl cases investigated over 5 months had direct ties to social media. That's from the DEA. Facts. Between 2012 and 2022, cyber tip line reports of online child sexual exploitation increased from 415,000 to more than 32 million. And as I noted, at least 20 victims committed suicide in sextortation cases. So I'm going to start with that, with you, Mr. Citron. My bill with Senator Cornyn, the SHIELD Act, includes a threat provision that would help protection and accountability for those that are threatened by these predators. Young kids get a picture, send it in, think they got a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend, ruins their life, or they think it's going to be ruined, and they kill themselves. So could you tell me why you're not supporting the SHIELD Act?
Senator, we think it's very important that teens have a safe experience on our platforms. I think that the portion to strengthen law enforcement's ability to investigate crimes against children and hold bad actors accountable is
so are you holding open that you may support it?
We very much would like to have conversations with you. We're open to discussing further. And we do welcome legislation and regulation. This is a very important issue for our country, and we've been prioritizing safety for teens.
Thank you. I'm much more interested in if you support it, because there's been so much talk at these hearings and popcorn throwing and the like, and I just want to get this stuff done. I'm so tired of this. It's been 28 years, since the internet. We haven't passed any of these bills because everyone's double talk. It's time to actually pass them. And the reason they haven't passed is because of the power of your company. So let's be really, really clear about that. So what you say matters. Your words matter. Mr. Chu, I'm a co-sponsor of Chair Durbin's Stop CSAM Act of 2023, along with Senator Hawley, who's the lead Republican, I believe, which, among other things, empowers victims by making it easier for them to ask tech companies to remove the material and related imagery from their platforms. Why would you not support this bill?
Senator, we largely support it. I think the spirit of it is very aligned with what we want to do. There are questions about implementation that I think companies like us and some other groups have, and we look forward to asking those. And of course, if this legislation is law, we will comply.
Mr. Spiegel, I know we talked ahead of time. I do appreciate your company's support for the Cooper Davis Act, which will finally, it's a bill with Senator Shaheen and Marshall, which will allow law enforcement to do more when it comes to fentanyl. I think you know what a problem this is. Devin Noring, teenager from Hastings, I mentioned his mom here, suffered dental pain and migraines, so he bought what he thought was a Percocet over Snap, but instead he bought a counterfeit drug laced with a lethal dose of fentanyl. As his mom, who's here with us today, said, all of the hopes and dreams we as parents had for Devin were erased in the blink of an eye, and no mom should have to bury their kid. Talk about why you support the Cooper Davis Act.
Senator, thank you. We strongly support the Cooper Davis Act, and we believe it will help DEA go after the cartels and get more dealers off the streets to save more lives.
Okay. Are there others that support that bill? On this? No. Okay. Mr. Zuckerberg, in 2021, the Wall Street Journal reported on internal meta-research documents asking, why do we care about tweens? These were internal documents. I'm quoting the documents. And answering its own question by citing Meta internal emails. They are a valuable but untapped audience. At a commerce hearing, I'm also on that committee, I asked Meta's head of global safety why children aged 10 to 12 are so valuable to Meta. She responded, "We do not knowingly attempt to recruit people who aren't old enough to use our apps." Well, when the 42 state attorneys general, Democrat and Republican, brought their case, they said this statement was inaccurate. Few examples. In 2021, she received an email, Ms. Davis, from Instagram's research director saying that Instagram is investing in experiencing targeting young age roughly 10 to 12. In a February 2021 instant message, one of your employees wrote that Meta is working to recruit Gen Alpha before they reach teenage years. A 2018 email that circulated inside Meta says that you were briefed that children under 13 will be critical for increasing the rate of acquisition when users turn 13. Explain that with what I heard at that testimony at the Commerce hearing, that they weren't being targeted. And I just ask again, as the other witnesses were asked, why your company does not support the Stop CSAM Act or the SHIELD Act.
Sure, Senator. I'm happy to talk to both of those. We had discussions internally about whether we should build a kids version of Instagram, like the kids versions of YouTube and other services. We haven't actually moved forward with that, and we currently have no plans to do so. So I can't speak directly to the exact emails that you cited, but it sounds to me like they were deliberations around a project that people internally thought was important and we didn't end up moving forward with.
Okay, and the bills, what are you going to say about the two bills?
Sure. So overall, I mean, my position on the bills is I agree with the goal of all of them. There are most things that I agree with within them. There are specific things that I would probably do differently. We also have our own legislative proposal for what we think would be most effective in terms of helping the internet in the various companies give parents control over the experience. So I'm happy to go into the detail on any one of them, but ultimately, I mean, I think that this
I think these parents will tell you that this stuff hasn't worked to just give parents control. They don't know what to do. It's very, very hard, and that's why we are coming up with other solutions that we think are much more helpful to law enforcement, but also this idea of finally getting something going on liability. Because I just believe with all the resources you have, that you actually would be able to do more than you're doing, or these parents would be sitting behind you right now in this Senate hearing room.
Thank you, Senator
Senator,
Klobuchar.
can I speak to that? Or do you want me to come back later?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
I don't think that parents should have to upload an ID or prove that they're the parent of a child in every single app that their children use. I think the right place to do this, and a place where it would be actually very easy for it to work, is within the app stores themselves, where my understanding is Apple and Google already, or at least Apple, already requires parental consent when a child does a payment with an app. So it should be pretty trivial to pass a law that requires them to make it so that parents have control anytime a child downloads an app and offers consent of that. And the research that we've done shows that the vast majority of parents want that. And I think that that's the type of legislation, in addition to some of the other ideas that you all have, that would make this a lot easier for parents.
I just to be clear, I remember one mom telling me with all these things she could maybe do that she can't figure out. It's like a faucet overflowing in a sink, and she's out there with a mop while her kids are getting addicted to more and more different apps and being exposed to material. We've got to make this simpler for parents so they can protect their kids, and I just don't think this is going to be the way to do it. I think the answer is what Senator Graham has been talking about, which is opening up the halls of the courtroom so that puts it on you guys to protect these parents and protect these kids, and then also to pass some of these laws that makes it easier for law enforcement.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. We're going to try to stick to the 7-minute rule. It didn't work very well, but I'll try to give additional time on the other side as well. Senator Cornyn.
There's no question that your platforms are very popular, but we know that while here in the United States we have an open society and free exchange of information, that there are authoritarian governments, there are criminals who will use your platforms for the sale of drugs, for sex, for extortion, and the like. And Mr. Chu, I think your company is unique among the ones represented here today because of its ownership by ByteDance, a Chinese company. And I know there have been some steps that you've taken to wall off the data collected here in the United States. But the fact of the matter is that under Chinese law and Chinese national intelligence laws, all information accumulated by companies in the People's Republic of China are required to be shared with the Chinese intelligence services. ByteDance, the initial release of TikTok, I understand, was 2016. These efforts that you made with Oracle under the so-called Project Texas to wall off the U.S. data was in 2021 and apparently allegedly fully walled off in March of 23. What happened to all of the data that TikTok collected before that?
Senator, thank you.
From American users.
Understand. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which is majority owned by global investors, and we have 3 Americans on the board out of 5. You are right in pointing out that over the last 3 years, we have spent billions of dollars building out Project Texas, which is a plan that is unprecedented in our industry to firewall off protected U.S. data from the rest of our staff.
And I'm asking about all of the data that you collected prior to that event.
Yes, Senator. We have started a data deletion plan. I talked about this a year ago. We have finished the first phase of data deletion through our data centers outside of the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. And we're beginning phase 2, where we will not only delete from the data centers, we will hire a third party to verify that work. And then we will go into, for example, employees' working laptops to delete that as well.
Was all of the data collected by TikTok prior to Project Texas shared with the Chinese government pursuant to the national intelligence laws of that country?
Senator, we have not been asked for any data by the Chinese government, and we have never provided it.
Your company is unique again among the ones represented here today because you're currently undergoing review by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. Is that correct?
Senator, yes, there are ongoing discussions, and a lot of our Project Texas work is informed by the discussions with many agencies under the CFIUS umbrella.
Well, CFIUS is designed specifically to review foreign investments in the United States for national security risks, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And your company is currently being reviewed by this interagency committee at the Treasury Department for potential national security risks.
Senator, this review is on a acquisition of Musical.ly, which is an acquisition that was done many years ago.
I mean, is this a casual conversation, or are you actually providing information to the Treasury Department about how your platform operates for evaluating a potential national security risk?
Senator, it's been many years across 2 administrations and a lot of discussions around how our plans are, how our systems work. We have a lot of robust discussions about a lot of detail.
63% of teens, I understand, use TikTok. Does that sound about right?
Senator, I cannot verify that. We know we are popular amongst many age groups. The average age in the U.S. today for our user base is over 30, but we're aware we are popular.
And you reside in Singapore with your family, correct?
Yes, I reside in Singapore and I work here in the United States as well.
And do your children have access to TikTok in Singapore?
Senator, if they lived in the United States, I will give them access to our under 13 experience. My children are below the age of 13.
My question is, in Singapore, do they have access to TikTok, or is that restricted by domestic law?
We do not have an under 13 experience in Singapore. We have that in the United States. Because we were deemed a mixed audience app, and we created under 13 experience in response to that.
A Wall Street Journal article published yesterday directly contradicts what your company has stated publicly. According to the journal, employees under the Project Texas say that U.S. user data including user emails, birth date, IP addresses, continue to be shared